This is Gemara in Gittin Daf Samach Tes. I'm holding on the bottom of Samach Ches Amid Beis. 5 lines from the bottom, the 2 dots. We just finished the long and lengthy discussion of Shlomo HaMelech's encounter with Ashmedai as he tried to procure the shamir, the worm to cut the stones for the Beis HaMikdash. And now we revert back to the discussion that we had 2 days ago, which was different diseases, different remedies from the time of Chazal. We're going to start with the head and work all the way down the body. And of course, as we always remind ourselves, there are many different ways of understanding these Gemaras, and we will just try to aim for Pashit Pshat. Ledama dereishe, literally blood on the head. Leisei shur niva, you have to bring boxwood, ubina and willow, va'asa and a myrtle, dara, vizita, v'chilfa, and an olive, a poplar, v'chilfa, diyama, v'yavla, cloves and yavla, v'chilfa, diyama, u'lishaklinu, b'hadi adadi. Take all these wonderful ingredients, you boil them together, v'lintal talas me'akisi, and then you take 300 cups, agisa dereisha, 300 cups of this mixture on this side of the head, utlas me'akisi, and 300 cups, a high gisa dereisha on this side of the head. And if you can't do that, if you can't make that remedy, you should take a white rose to kabachad dara, whose leaves all stand straight on a row. And what should you do? You boil it up and you put 60 cups on this side of the head, and then you put 60 cups on the other side of the head. Litz lichta, which is another type of head issue, more of a migraine. Lacey tarnigola barav lishachate. You have to take a wild chicken, shechtet bezuza chiyivra, shechtet with a sharp zuz, ahu gisam tikayev lay, over the side of the head that hurts. V'niz dayer, but be careful midame, from the blood of this chicken. Dololis hamni leinei, if it gets in the person's eyes, rachmanu litzlan, could cause him to blind. And then you have to hang the slaughtered chicken on the doorpost. That when the person enters, he should brush against it, he should bump into it. And when he leaves as well, he brushes into it. As we turn over to Samachtes Amid Aleph, Liberukti, a third disease. This is an eye issue. Again, we're starting from the head and we're moving downward. This is more of a cataract. Lesi Akurava, you have to bring a scorpion to shave chumri that has 7 colors. When you have shave betula, and dry out the scorpion in the shade, v'nishchait, grind it up, make a powder of tarti mansa kochla, 2 parts of kochla, v'chade mansa mina, and 1 part of ground up scorpion. V'limle tlasa mikloche b'hayena, put 3 doses of the powder in this eye, Utlasa michla, and 3 doses b'hayina in the other eye. Tfei, more than that, loy limli, more than that, you should not do, because more than that, delay cause, if you're not careful, paka eine could cause the eye to burst. And the Gemara continues 5 lines down, the shviri delelia, for night blindness, can't see at night, and they say shudra baraka, take a shudra baraka, take a rope of animal hair, and tie 1 leg to the rope, and 1 leg, mikalva, tie it to a dog, and children should rattle chasba, shadri parts of asrayu, behind him, and they should say the following, some sort of incantation. Asa kalba, achsa tarnigaila, an old dog, a mad rooster on the last narrow line. V'ligve shave umsei, and you should bring 7 pieces of raw mishivra bate, 7 pieces of raw meat from 7 houses. And they should put the meat in the door to their house. And he should eat the meat by the garbage places of the city, the Kilkula Damasa, Basar Hachi, and after this, after eating this meat from the 7 houses, Livshait Shudra Barka, he should remove the animal hair again, which is tied to his leg and tied to this dog. And say as follows: Shivrire de Pliny Bar Planita. The blindness of Pliny Bar Planita, referring to himself, Shavkino le Pliny Bar Planita, should leave Pliny Bar Planita. Velechre le Kalva Bebese, and they should blow into the Kalva Bebese Deine, the eye of the dog. Fascinating, of course, how these things work, whether these are whether it's Kabbalistic, whether these are, remedies that we don't understand, whatever it is. Lishvura diyamama. So that's one if one was blind at night. What if one's blind by day? Leise shiva sumki migavo. He should bring 7 spleens from freshly slaughtered meat, and roast them on the blood letter shard, the place where the blood letter used to catch his blood. And the blind man should stay in the house. And there should be someone else who could see well outside the house. And the blind man should say, the blind man should say, give me some of the spleen to eat. And the guy who could see should say, he should say, the one that has open eyes, the one that can see should say, Sav Eichel, take and eat. And after he eats, should break this blood letter shard, because if not, the blindness is going to come back to him. After dealing with different types of blindness, we continue down the face. Now we're up to the nose. We're 6 lines into the very wide lines. The last word on line is Ladama. Ladama da'asa min chanira. For the blood that comes from the nechira, the nose. Lazy gavra kayin desham Levi. You should bring a kayin whose name is Levi, v'lichtav Levi lemafreya. And write the word Levi backwards. Yod vav lamed. V'iloi. And if he doesn't have a kayin that's name is Levi, Lazy inish mi'alma, take a regular person, and he should write as follows: Ana papi shila bar sumki lemafreya. I parpi bar shila bar sumki backwards. V'iloi, if he can't do that, nechtav le'ach, he should write as follows: Tamin deli, ta'am deli b'mei chesef, the taste of the bucket b'mei kesef in silver water. Ta'am deli b'mei pegam, the taste of the bucket in tainted water. And somehow these incantations, these remedies are going to cause that the nosebleed will disappear. This does not work. You should take a stalk of aspasta. And in the rope of an old bed, paper and saffron, and the red of the palm branch. And they take all these items and he burn them together until they have ashes. And he should bring a ball of wool, vinigdal tarte pasilta, and twist the fiber of this wool into 2 strands, v'litmash bechala, and dip it into challah, into vinegar, vinigdavel bekitma hadain, and roll them in these ashes, so the ashes are going to be on these ropes, on these 2 strands, v'neise v'chanira, and insert these 2 strands into the nostrils, v'ilai. And if that does not work, Leichzei Amas Hamayim, you shall find a canal in Amas Hamayim that flows from east to west, v'nifsa, and you should step over it. V'neikom chad kara la'gisa v'chad kara la'gisa, and you should have 1 foot on this side of the stream and 1 foot on that side of the stream. V'nishkal tina biyadei diyamina, and he should take mud with his right hand, mitute kare dismola, underneath his left foot. Ubiyadei dismola, and mud in his left hand, mitute kare diyamina, from underneath his right foot. V'nigdal tarti p'solta de'imra, and twist 2 strands of wool. V'nitmash betina, and put them into the mud. V'nesa b'nechira, and again insert these strands of wool that are now covered in mud in his nostrils. V'iloi, and if this doesn't work, le'seiv tuti marzava, what should he do? He should sit beneath the water spout, And he should let the water run. Someone else should bring water and pour it on him through the spout. They should say, just like this water is going to stop, let the dam, let the blood of this person stop. And that is the final way of curing this nosebleed situation. We continue going down the face, and now we have blood coming out of the mouth. They should test him with the straw of wheat. If the blood sticks to the straw, then what? It's coming from the lungs, and we can help him. If the blood in his mouth does not stick to the straw, it's coming from his liver, but less later kanta, and there is no taikana. Amar le Ravami the Ravashi. We learned the exact opposite. That what if the liver was removed and there's nothing left, excuse me, the lung as a whole, or it was missing a little bit. So what do we see? Seemingly an injury to the lung is even more severe than the liver. The liver, only if the whole thing is lacking, but the lung, missing one piece is a problem. Amar le, so he responds, Kiman de bepume kasi. Since in this scenario the blood is coming in his mouth, Imam tuche itmach. That's the reason why, because you have to worry that the liver dissolved, and that's where the blood is coming from in his mouth. Amar Mar, so the Gemara goes back and discusses a detail over here. Ime rei kasi, if it's coming from his lungs, isli takante. So my takante. So what indeed is the remedy? So Leise Shiva Kuni Mipirya, 7 fistfuls of sliced dates, Disilka, Vishiva Kune, and 7 Vishiva Kune, 7 fistfuls of Pirmar Dikisa, of sliced leeked, Chamisha Kune, and 5 fistfuls of Preda, Tulasa Kune, and 3 fistfuls dit Lavchei, of lentils. Vekuna dekimoina, a fistful of kumin. It sounds like a wonderful chalent. Vekuna de chavlei, and a fistful of chavlei. Kenegda and kansad petirta, and a matching amount of the fats of a firstborn animal. V'lavashel, and cook it off. V'leichel, and he should eat it. V'lishti, and drink. V'lishti abasrei, and drink after this wonderful concoction. Shechra charifa, strong beer. Teteves, of the month of Teves, and that's how we'll cure his mouth that is bleeding. Continues the Gemara, lekava. What about if he has aches in the molars? He has tooth issues. He should bring a head of garlic that has 1 clove, and grind it together with oil and salt. And he should put it on a thumbnail, dahu gisa dekayivlei, on the part of his tooth that hurts him. And hadar lei gedafna delisha, and he surround the tooth with a ring of dough. V'niz dayer, and he has to be careful. Lebisra dekashi, he should be careful for lebisra. He should be careful. That the garlic that he's putting in his mouth doesn't touch meat. Why? Dekashi lechiyura, because he could cause leprosy. Lechinchi, continues in the mouth for issues with the tonsils. So what do? So number 1, Amar Rav Yechanan, chumsi, when he calls chumsi ki mamru, we take some sort of leaves, ve'ikra de chumsei adem imara, and the root of this special type of plant is better than the mamru, better than the other parts of it. And he should keep them in his mouth, akumi, to stop the swellings. Now, once the swelling stops, what do we do next? Livashule, to form an abscess. Leise parie dereish nafya. He should bring bran from the top of the sieve. v'tilfache ba'afrayu, and lentils that are in the soil, v'shavlilta v'chumrasa, and fenugreek v'chumrasa d'chushuta, and a blossom, different ingredients, v'nimke, and what do you do with all these things? Ka'amguza b'pume, on the nut-sized mixture in his mouth. Liptuches, then you form an abscess, and next you want to swell it up so it's going to burst open, and then you could drain it out. Sounds like a real medical procedure going on over here. What do? Linvach lei chavre, a person should blow tichle chayivtra, white cress seeds, begila dechitza, through a wheat straw. And the final step, la suke, you want to get the fresh skin to come out after the abscess has been formed and popped and all the pus is drained. Leise afra mitula de beisa kise, take some dust from the toilet where there's shade, v'nigval beduvshta, mix it with honey, v'nechel, and eat it. Temali lei, because that's going to be good for him in this situation. We continue 3 lines from the bottom. Lebirsam, if someone has birsam. What is birsam? Birsam is some of the mucous membranes through his nostrils are having issues. Leisei, he should bring kipistika dinishador, a certain cone amount of nishtador, which is a type of ingredient, ammoniac, v'chiam guza dechalbinza div shanisa, and a nut-sized amount of sweet galbanom, umelei tar vada, and a spoonful of duvsha chiyivra, white honey, umale nitla bas mechayza chamra nikida, and the mechayza full amount of clear wine. When he takes these things, all together, he cooks them up. V'chei bashal, and when he cooks them, nishadar bashal le'lekulei. And when the ammoniac is cooked, then you know everything is cooked. And then you drink this beautiful potion up, and everything will be fine. V'ilo, if you can't do that, leisei reviyasa techalva deiza chiyivra, a revius amount of milk from a white goat. As we turn over to samachtas amid base, so you take this amount from the white goat, v'netaife atlas kilche de karava, and you drip it over 3 cabbage stalks. V'nevchashe begavza de mamrihin, and you stir it with a twig of this certain branch of mamrin. V'chibashal gavza, and when the gavza is cooked, b'mamrin bashal lekule, then you know it's all cooked. If you can't even do this, v'ilai in the 3rd line of Savachtasim and Veis, leisei nafka de kalva. What do you bring? You bring the feces, the excrement of a dog, chiyivra, of a white dog, v'nigva v'nitzva, and you knead it together with balsam, and you're going to eat this. V'kama de avshar, and as much as possible, nafka loy nechol, you should not eat it. Demafrik, why? Because it causes one to have stomach issues. Continues the Gemara. Let's move down. Since we're all issues in the face, in the head, in the eyes, in the nose, in the mouth. Next goes legira. Next goes if one has an issue with some of the internal membranes, perhaps the heart. Leisigira de lilta. He brings an arrow of lilta v'navche, and he turns it upside down. Unishade maya, and he pours water over it. V'nishte, and he drinks it. And if he can't do this, leisei mimaya deishte minayu. He should take water from which, so who drank from it? Kalva, a dog, balelia at night. V'nizdarim, be careful. Migaluye ligaluye. But be careful. Excuse me. But be careful that it was left uncovered. Excuse me. Be careful if it was left uncovered in a place that there might be snakes. Says the Gemara, ligaluye. Anfaka de chamra chaya. He drank, for giluye, in a situation that one drank water that was left uncovered. Therefore, we're worried that he might be drinking snake poison. So, anfaka de chamra chira lemursa anfaka de chamra ba'ala. So, if he's drinking the giluye anfaka de chamra chaya, an anpak that's an amount of diluted wine, lemursa, if he has an abscess, then anfaka de chamra ba'ala talana, an anpak of wine mixed with the red aloe. Tolana. Lepirchai deliva, for a heart that has issues, he faints. Leisei tlas bri shaisa dishairi. Should bring 3 loaves of nishtairu bikimka. Bring 3 loaves of barley bread and nishtairu bikimka. And soak them in chimka that is less than 40 days old, v'nechal, and eat it, v'nishtei abasrayu chamra marka, and afterwards drink watered down wine. Amar le Ravacha, midivdi le Ravina, v'kolshkin de barach liba. If he does this, your aforementioned remedy, certainly he's going to faint. Seemingly, these ingredients are not good for a faint heart. So Amar le, he responded, Ana, you know what I was referring to? Liyukra de liba amre. I was referring to if someone has a heavy heart, not if someone has a faint heart. Liyunkra de liba amre. Lepircha de liba. If someone has a faint heart, then leisi tlas b'rishayz de chita. Should bring 3 loaves of wheat bread, v'nisht tarinu b'duvsha, soak the bread in honey, v'nichel, and eat it, v'nishtei avasrayu, and drink afterwards, chamra chaya, fresh wine, le shamachaya, fresh undiluted wine, litzircha deliba, for heart pain, le say, he should bring tlas bayi ninya, he should bring 3 egg amounts of ninya, which is mint, u ba'ita de kamuna, and an egg of cumin, eggs amount. Ubeita dishum shambi, an eggs amount of sesame. V'leichal, he eats his concoction, and that will heal his heart pain. Now we continue going lower in the body, lekeim mai, for intestinal pains. Leisi tlasmei apapula achrichta, 300 long peppers. V'chol yoyim nishtei mea minayu, and each day he should drink 100 of them bechamra, together with wine. Ravin continues saying his story. Ravin de Minara Shavali Lebrati de Ravashi Meya v'chamshin Mahanadidon. He made 150 peppercorns from those peppers that were in Bavel, and Vistaya, and indeed she was cured. Lekirsa, someone has worms in their intestines, Anfaka de Chamra, Betrafa Daria, an epic of wine with a leaf that is on it. Lekirsa, Chiyevra, for a white intestinal issue, Lesi Bizra, Galgila, should be the seed of a plant, Vinitzaira, Bishist Tug, and wrap it in a cotton cloth, Vinitaria, Bimaria, and soak the cloth in water, Vinishtaya, and he's going to drink it. Vinitzaira, but you should be careful, Mi Binse. You have to be careful of the kernels. Why? Diloi, Makvalilaminayu, because if he swallows them, it could puncture his intestines. Continues the Gemara, Lemesar. He has a digestive issue in his intestines, or whatnot. Sisin retiva b'maya, fresh pennyroyal in water. Lemishrei avishta b'maya, to open the bowels. Lemishrei, meaning one is if you're constipated. One is if to regulate. Now we're talking about lemishra. If one is constipated, he wants to open up the bowels. Yavishta b'maya, dried pennyroyal in water. V'simanech isa retiva. The siman is that isa retiva de savar nahara, fresh itza that dams the river. So showing us that the fresh one is one when you want to clog it all up. Letichla, the guy has a bloated spleen. Leisiv shiv b'ni demaya. He brings 7 water leeches in Eveshta Betula, dry them out in the shade. Chol Yaiman every day, Nishtei Tarti Utlas Bechamra. He should drink 2 or 3 of them together with wine. Vilay, and if this does not work, Leisei Tichla Disafirta, the spleen of a Delo Iftach, of a she goat that has not had children, Vinitchaye Betanura, and take this spleen and press it on the side of the oven, v'nuki lahadei, stand near the oven, v'neba, and say, Kiechi di yavish hai techla. Just like this spleen is now drying up in the oven, the yavish tachle de polinia bar planisa, so too should the spleen of such and such dry up. V'ilai, and if this does not work, nitzchaya beini orve, he should press the spleen into the cracks of the barrel, beini orve de beiti chadata, of between the bricks of a new house, v'nei mahachi, and say what we said before. These interesting interesting words you're saying, incantations of sorts, while doing these actions. V'ilai, and if this doesn't work, livka shechva deshachif b'shabata. He should find someone who died on Shabbos, take the hands of his corpse, put the dead hand on his spleen, and he should say, just like this one, this hand is drying up, the spleen of this person should dry up. If this doesn't work, 3 lines of the wide lines, he should bring fish, and roast it on blacksmith's coals, and dip it into the water of the blacksmith, and drink it together with the water of the blacksmith. It says the Gemara, based on this last thing, Ahu Iza, there was a certain goat, that would drink the water of the blacksmith. When they shechted this goat, there was no spleen. So we see that this blacksmith water has these powers to dry up the spleen. Continues the Gemara v'ilai, and if this doesn't work in the first wide line, lifta chavita dechamra l'shmei, should open a barrel of wine for his own usage. Amrli Ravacha breid de Rav Ravashi. Is lechaviva dechamra, one who has a barrel of wine, one who has a plethora of wine, lo asi lekamei demar, does not need to come to mar for a remedy of this spleen that's bloated. Why? Ella margal b'pashachris demale lekule gufe. Just have bread in the morning, which is good for the entire body. And we continue going down the body. L'rish chasa, for hemorrhoids, aleise akika, ve'ilva vaspircha. He should bring asaya, aloe, vaspircha, merkatcha, quicksilver, and litharge, all these different ingredients. V'chomrasa, de pila and v'shiafa, de chamimta, and salakit and dove excrement. V'nikna, I take all these ingredients, v'shachye de kisna, wrap them in rags of flax, v'kayata, in the summer, and wrap them in kain during the winter. And then you place them on the area that's turning. And if this doesn't work, you should drink watered down beer. And we conclude that we move down. What if someone has an issue in the pelvic area? What should he do? A pot of small fish. And he rolls it 60 times on the hip, and 60 times on that hip. Litzamirta, says the Gemara, for a stone in the urinary system, for gallstones and whatnot. He should bring 3 drops of mishcha de kufra, tar oil, utlas nitufaisa, and 3 drops of itra de karti, leek extract, utlas nitufaisa, and 3 drops of the chamra nekida, of clear wine. The man should put it inside the amma, inside Oisei Makam, the man inside his aver, and the woman Oisei Makam. And if that doesn't work, Lesi Una should bring an ear of the zika, the ear of the flask, they hang it from the man from his aver, the woman from her dadin, from her breast. If that doesn't work, bring red thread that was spun, the shidra daima pas daima, that was spread by a bad woman, the daughter of a bad woman. And hang this thread leish ba'ama ulisha bedadin. And if that doesn't work, leisekina, you're going to take a louse, the zachar nekeva, from a man and a woman, and you take this louse and you hang it from the man by and the woman in her private areas. And then when they use the bathroom, nishtin asisna yivishta b'sinura didasha, they should urinate on dry thorns in the doorway. And be careful for the stone that comes out of the body, because that stone is good, lekule, simra, for all types of fever. Save the stone, grind it up as a remedy for all types of fever. Just 2, and we'll stop over here. We'll pick it up from the simra brara for a fever in the next year, b'siyata dishmaya.